يلا بسم الله. أمير جون
عزيزم
جيجارة.
جيجام يا خبر.
Barakallahu for coming today, bro.
Jazakallah.
Means a lot. And I thought, you know what? A lot of the times when we start a podcast, the guest always, like, you were one way when we started. Now you've kind of like bunched up a little bit, innit? But I think just to break the ice, what's your favorite dish that your mum used to cook you and still does? That when you go back to her house,
It has to be
she cooks for you.
Fesenjun.
What's fesenjun, bro?
It's like it's a chicken dish, but it's bathed in pomegranate sauce with vegetables. It's got that kind of sharp taste to it. Well, alhamdulillah, it's really nice, man.
So just chicken?
Chicken.
Is it roasted?
Roasted and then put in this amazing pomegranate. I'm sure you got something similar in North Africa. Pomegranate sauce.
We don't use pomegranate, bro. Not like that anyway.
Alhamdulillah.
I don't think so anyway. I've never tasted anything.
Or the power food. The
Go
one
on.
that gives you the power. It's something called Gorm Sabzi.
Go on.
From Sabzi, and from green, you know, the green. And this particular Sabzi.
What do you mean the green?
So they make the Gorm Sabzi with meat, kidney beans, but this particular green herb that comes from Iran, I'm sure it comes from other parts of the world as well, but specifically Iran, it's made in a certain way, bro. It's packed full of fenugreek.
Right.
And that's why I think I understand why we were so strong was young.
I only say
Because it's just full up of this stuff. Like it was like we used to eat before we go training.
Yeah.
It was
So
your-
fenugreek
it was
also raises your testosterone,
yeah,
right?
it's a natural testosterone booster, man.
Yeah, wicked.
So
Makes sense.
good food,
Yeah.
man.
Okay,
Strong food.
cool. I mean, the only meal that I remember your mum when we first started working with, at Legion.
She bring food, isn't it?
She bring. I still remember it to this day.
MashaAllah, it was a roast chicken.
It was was it buffalo chicken?
buffalo chicken, yeah.
And with some rice and
The kufta.
bruv, get the button ready, man. With the
What is it?
kufta, innit? Oh, you
Goftem kuft bede.
you flopped it, bro. I'm gonna give you one more chance. I like so basically, it had
Goftem kuft bede.
yeah. What does that mean actually? Because now you're here, you could tell us what that actually means, bro.
So you know kufta, the kuf there, it's
Yeah.
in Turkish, is the way you make the kebab in it.
Yeah,
Pat it and put it
Yeah.
on there. So when you say kuf bede, that means give them one kuft.
yeah.
But the kuft you're talking about is a forearm smash in the back of the head. It's like it's a death blow.
Just on that point, yeah. Just on that point, because obviously your dad's a wrestler, yeah.
Alhamdulillah, man.
Your beatings must have been legendary,
Well,
bro.
the funny-
Did you get a kuft?
I don't think Dad ever hit us.
Yeah,
alhamdulillah.
he's
Allah,
a
but he was
sweet soul, mashallah.
very, very like. I think he took all of his aggression out on the mat.
Yeah.
Competing several times a year. He's probably
You're
always,
supposed to bring the medal, bro.
Subhanallah. Next time.
So next time you come down, bring the medal. So
Yeah.
that what just
1968 silver medalists in the Iranian Championships lost to a very famous wrestler called Ibrahim Javadi, who went on to the 68 games, got the gold medal, the Olympics. My dad obviously wasn't allowed to go because he didn't make the team.
yeah.
So they sent him to Tbilisi in Georgia for the Grand Prix, which he won.
Oh, mashallah.
So, but yeah, I think he got disheartened. And to be fair, I don't want to bring it up, but there was a lot of tension between people in Iran. So there's certain people who come from certain nations in
Yeah.
Iran, and other nations aren't like them. So it's I mean, I don't wanna
What
put
do you
it
mean?
So my father's so my mother's Iranian,
Persian.
alhamdulillah. My father's also from that part of Iran, but he's more what you call he's Turk. So he's Azari, like
Yeah.
Turkmen. They speak Turkish. They are Turkish. They say they're Turkish, but they obviously they live in Iran, right?
Yeah.
So
Nationality is
yeah.
Iranian.
So what happened was there's a little bit of this kind of like we don't like Turks, we're Iranians, and the Turks like we don't like you. And it's like so he basically felt there's a little bit of that.
Oh, so that's why he
disparity.
didn't.
Yeah, and
Oh,
he
I
just
see.
left and he came to Europe and he started. Well, actually, we came here because he wanted to do. He was called over for his Oriental repairs, so he was a classical rug repairer.
One second, yeah.
Aladdin's carpet.
No, well, like, you know what it is, yeah? The reason I'm not laughing at it, yeah? I'm laughing because that's the most stereotypical kind of...
You like carpet?
Yeah, I'm Persian.
You like carpet? I make carpet.
Exactly, bro, yeah. But the thing is,
But the interesting
I was
thing,
very
bro,
ignorant about the whole carpet side of things until I met your dad and he explained to me how...
It's really it's an art, man. And but also the carpets is not only but Turkish.
Yeah.
That whole area, that Turkmen area, but that
Yeah.
whole part of old Iran, even parts of Asia, that was part of the trade. It was like,
But there's like really you telling me that when he's here that he gets called over on
So,
special projects, right?
obviously not now because of COVID, but before he was invited to like a museum where they had like this damaged carpet and he had to basically repair it. He's been to Portsmouth a few times. He's done private work for people. I tried to get him into the academic side of it. Maybe he can use it,
Like teach it to someone else. Yeah.
But that's what my mum did. So my mum actually employed it into her therapy. So she's a psychotherapist, alhamdulillah. So she basically set up all these small frames and allow patients to work with them. But I'm like, Mum, if you don't want one of them to take the thing out and go, oi!
So, subhanAllah. So your mum retrained as
So she learned through my dad, and obviously...
No, I meant the physio... the psychotherapy.
Yeah, so she studied in her late 50s, early 60s.
Wow, so at that age, mashallah.
Yeah, so she went into it. She was doing more translation. She was working mainly for certain Turkish communities where she speaks fluent Turkish, and also obviously some Iranian communities and Afghani communities. So the languages are quite...
Yeah, Persian, yeah?
Yeah, Persian is kind of...
Farsi,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then she became very concerned about the way that they were being managed. And she goes, I think she just felt sometimes some of the therapists weren't actually exploring the cultural needs of that patient. So she was like, I understand them, they're my people, and I want to try to help them. So, and then the next thing she went to university, Middlesex University, I think. Done a degree and then took it from there.
MashaAllah, man. That's really good.
Alhamdulillah.
I know we kind of talked about your dad a little bit because obviously we know each other, yeah, and there's people watching. There's guys at home watching. So if you just give us a little bit of an intro into your dad, because it is a big, I guess he's a very big influence on the wrestling side of things in the family, right? So I consider him, like I said to you before, like the grandmaster, even my grandmaster. Does that make sense? And even for my children, I make sure they understand that.
100%.
Like he's the our Helio Gracie for wrestling wise in our community, right? So
I believe that, bro. I mean, people don't realize that he's had a major impact on UK wrestling. So I had, so he came here, I think, 69. Actually, he came before that. He came, I think, 65 because they called him because they wanted to do this whole thing about the Oriental repairs and stuff. He's also been in Japan for a little bit, where he was doing repairs as well. And obviously, he's been around different areas in that respect. But obviously, because of his wrestling, he kind of developed. And England, to be fair, had a very strong wrestling culture back in the 70s, man. It was very strong. I mean, they had European and world junior champions. They had Noel Loban, who got the Olympic bronze medal in, I think, 80 or I think it was the American Games. Not Atlanta. It was somewhere in America they had the games, and he got the bronze medal. So they had a really strong nation. Obviously, things dissipated, and then didn't get supported as anything. If you don't support something, it's going to fall apart. So he was quite involved at a roots level, and I remember I was in a tournament about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and one of our heavyweights were fighting in the finals, and this really probably in his late 50s, early 60s gentleman came up to us and said, Are you the Islami boy? And I went, yes, there's a lot of us. So which one? He goes, you Ali's or Haggis, son? And I said, oh, I'm Ali's son. He goes, yeah. And in front of the wrestler, who is an eyewitness, right? He said to me, he goes, your dad was my icon. I wanted to be like him. I looked at his face, I was like, wow. I said, thank you, sir, for sharing that with us. It was really quite, it was on his heart, bro. It's heavy, yeah? And then later on, I got approached by Yvonne. Remember Yvonne? She was one of the secretaries of BWA. I said to her, who's that guy? She goes, those were one of two twins. They were very famous wrestlers, but his twin brother passed away in a car accident in the early 20s, so he stopped wrestling. And they were like nearly world-class level. And they were, so a lot of the moves you see, like the ankle lace and stuff.
Yeah.
That wasn't known properly back then. Like it was my dad's kind of special move. You know?
Wicked. I would love to one day get him on once all this is over. You can maybe translate, and you can. We'll do it.
I don't know what's wrong.
I've got subtitles. Don't worry.
No, we can do what Yo Romero did when he had.
Hey yo, you know.
Yeah, he went on Joe Rogan, and someone was translating for him. Kind of like he was talking English, and then
a little bit Brazilian.
yeah. So we can maybe do that, innit?
We've got Yusuf here. He can translate really well for my dad.
Yeah, why not, bro?
Boba speaks fluent Turkish.
Not the type of Turkish he speaks, bro.
No. He speaks fluent Turkish, man.
So, all right. So I'm gonna get into more detail later, and hopefully future episodes. I know you've agreed to come back like often. So let's just talk about a little bit about pre-medical school, yeah. Like life before being a doctor, because it's kind of like when you're a doctor, it's either before and after, right? It's kind of that. So if you just explain to the guys a little bit about what was life before getting into medical school.
So like yourself, I grew up in Hackney, so we saw Hackney in the early 80s.
Yeah.
I kind of went to med school mid-90s, early 90s, and so we kind of, mid-90s, I went to med school. So we kind of were around that time where Hackney was like, it was a war zone. You had the gun mile, you had the murder mile, you had the square.
Yeah.
You had areas that police weren't allowed to go to because they'll take it upon themselves, they end up getting murdered. It was ridiculous, man. I remember one day me and my brother were driving to the masjid for Jummah, and wallah, I'm telling you, I swear if I wasn't there, I wouldn't believe it. So I said, "Brother, pull up. Can you what's happening?" Behind us, there's literally a gunfight going on. I think there were like the yardies up on the roof, and they were shooting at the
Chatsworth Road, didn't it?
Chatsworth Road. And I was like, bro, there's a proper gunfight. And the problem is, if a bullet ricochets and hit you, you're dead.
Yeah.
So we just said, let's just get out of here, man.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, I mean, it's especially in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, it was crazy.
Do you remember Homerton Hospital? They used to have the armed police at the...
It was the worst hospital to give birth in, literally.
Yeah.
It was...
obviously, it's turned 100.
I mean, let's not... I mean...
it's one of the...
Because obviously someone's going to fact check that, yeah? Online, so... But it was bad. It was bad. And now Homerton Hospital, I know you've worked in it.
Probably Homerton is one of the best hospitals in England, I think.
Yeah.
They're one of the first to get... I think it was foundation status. Basically, everyone looks to them when it comes to what is the upper threshold of great. Yeah. And they look to them for that reason. Yeah. So the whole of Hackney's changed, man. It's
changed and it hasn't changed, isn't it? It's one of the...
Yeah.
There's an underbelly and there's people like... so the thing is with gentrification, what happens is you got the families that have been living there, and then you got the gentrification that's happening, but the issues don't really get dealt with. They don't. So, but they just kind of get...
swept away.
Yeah. But anyway... So
I grew up, obviously, went to the same school.
Don't give your address out, but you were in Kingsmead Estate, right?
Estate area, yeah.
And Kingsmead Estate was hard bodied, but
that was a hard knock place.
It was next to Mabley Green and everything. Those I don't know if you remember. Yeah, Mabley Green football. We used to go PE there, and I think once I can't remember what happened. I know we just heard from the teachers saying, yeah, we're not going to go there again. And then they never took us to play football there again. But yeah, Kingsmead Estate. I remember our first house that was given to us by the council was in Kingsmead. But I went and saw it. He's like, nah, man, keep me in that bed and breakfast. I'll wait. Yeah. It was so bad. Yeah.
So we lived just off Runnymede, so it was going towards Meeson Street.
Yeah.
And it was, to be fair, bro, it was like, I think because we had loads of, like, there's 5 brothers, it was, alhamdulillah, they had a good kind of like network.
But when you live in an area like that, it's for outsiders looking in, it's like,
it's horrific. But for us, it's like,
it's normal.
So I missed it, but when I got to come back from medical school, I'd actually look forward to going back home. I thought, like, this is who I am. I'm from East London. And alhamdulillah, I don't think I have changed. Yeah. I don't really think I'm really a doctor, if you get my drift. Yeah. You just kind of realize you can do something because you've been given, by the grace of Allah, to do some good. Yeah. But so I went to a local college, Hackney Sixth Form. It's closed down now. It was on Castellan Road. Yeah. Another place, another messed up area.
Also, can I just go back to school because that's very important? Because me and you went to the same school, secondary school, right?
But about 6 years different.
Is it 6 years?
So when I left, you started.
So it's 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. So I was year 7. You were in college.
I was in college.
Yeah. Now, I went to the same school, so I've been through the whole 5 years, and look, we can talk about it now because it's been closed down and knocked down, and it's not really nice to talk about school like that, right? No. How dare you? You say Erswick, bro? No, that's Hackney Free. Erswick is Hackney Free now. That was our arch rivals. It's City Academy. Yeah. Huh? Homerton, yeah. You might want to bend this a little bit, bro.
Bend it up.
No, downwards. Yeah, that's it, like that. Pull it up and then bend it down.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, there you go. You look, bro. You've been manipulating arms since 1997, bro. You can't even.
Let me try something.
And you having trouble with this, man. Next time I know what to do when he gets me the Kimura, just go like that. Just keep it that way, man. So okay,
Homerton
was. How do I put this?
It was
the best way to describe
a prison yard.
It was like being in Vietnam, and like like when people go through, like you watch films of soldiers when they come back from war.
I was in Nam.
Yeah, and then like, which squadron were you in or whatever? Which platoon were you in? And then you start sharing all these stories.
So the two worst schools were Homerton and Hackney Downs.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So if you went to one of those two, you was like,
yeah, you've been
through Nam.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and we had similar teachers, right? Because the teachers were So when I met Amir and
you knew the stories about Reza anyway.
Yeah. So I heard. So in year 7, I would hear whisperings in it because Mossy, he was in year 8 when I was in year 7.
Yeah.
And so I'd hear stories about myths about what's going on about Mossy's older brothers basically. And I mean, some stories must have been exaggerated, and some stories might have been true. And then when I met you, and I've kind of like had to fact check all these stories, most of them were like over exaggerated, right? So, so the interesting thing for me was the fact that you went to Homerton and you went to medical school. So when you're there, you don't correlate the two. You kind of, it's almost like, I don't know how to explain it. You said. Why don't you tell them a story about when you said to your teacher, I mean, don't mention her name, but you said, I want to be a doctor, and what she said to you, and then.
So I had this kind of rhetorical narrative at college, at secondary school, at college, even at a younger level, maybe starting secondary school, and I think the kind of the statement would be, no, but you can't do that. Because you're from Hackney, your postcode's E5, your dad's a wrestler, your mum's a cleaner, and I was like, oh, so already they told you from a young age you can't do that.
So how would they do that? How would they tell you? Would it be kind of
very blatant,
explicit? Yeah,
very explicit. It said, and then I even had one. I was in college. He just said, well, it's like nearly laughed me off, and I went, why can't I? I said, what stops me from doing that? And I remember thinking, wow, this is real negative energy, man. And I think a lot of it is because they kind of just believe that it's a trash area, Hackney's trash, and only trash is going to come out of it.
Also, you got, so being adults looking back, schools underfunded, they don't have the resources. Don't get me wrong,
wallahi, there was a lot
really
of teachers,
good teachers,
that they, I'm just talking about one or two that met, but I'm like, no, you can't. Because I nearly got into acting.
Was it casualty, bro?
You know, every time I hear someone,
yeah, the rolling casualty.
He was on the bill, bro.
You went to see him on.
Firstly, that's not casualty, by the way.
Michael Grove. Which one's that one?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Oh my god.
Well,
were you on the bill or something?
No. I got up. So basically, I've done a lot of schools plays and stuff, yeah. And I've done A View from the Bridge, a couple of stuff.
Who were you in The View from the Bridge?
I was Marco.
He was the bridge.
I was the hench brother.
He was the bridge, bro.
He was like, don't you dare talk to like this one.
Why is he Russian, bro?
I don't know.
So you actually you had the Firstly, did you act in front of an audience?
Yeah,
or-
audience, and also we had someone come in to watch,
Oh, okay.
and they were like, "Yeah,
One
this-"
person. That's the school, isn't it? Just sorry, we only can have one spectator.
So he
Sign
came
this
in.
release.
So that's what he came in, and he was like, "Right, we need to know." Anyway, so then the Miss Gibson got me to. I don't know how, but we got an interview to be. Remember Five Live when it first came out, Channel 5.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they wanted a presenter for the kids program, and then he went.
Sorry, I can't take it seriously,
I
bro.
swear to God.
Wait. I've never watched children's channels on Channel 5, bro.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, milkshake, bro. It was called milkshake.
Who goes home after school? I'm like, I'm gonna
Remember
watch Channel
Milkshake?
5.
I think in Mohammed it might have been that.
Milkshake.
So anyway,
Yeah.
they interviewed me. There was a couple people there interviewing, and they called back and said to me, "Yeah, we'd like you to be the presenter." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Alright, cool, man." I said, "When do you want to do it?" They said to me in and around GCSE time, and I went, "Nah, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I'm good, man." And I remember, I won't say which teacher I spoke
Oh
to.
yeah, it is milkshake.
I won't say which teacher I spoke to, and she said to me, "I want to talk to you in the office." I went, "What have I done wrong?" She goes, "Come here, sit down." She goes, "Are you mental?" I said, "Why?" She goes, "You've just given up the chance to be a presenter, blah, blah, blah." I went, "I want to do medicine." She goes, "Screw education." I was like, well, not in those words. I was like, yeah, but I want to become a doctor. I don't want it. This is like recreation.
Yeah.
You get it, don't get it. Just
She's trying to live through you, right?
basically,
Yeah.
yeah. Basically. And I was like,
Can I tell you a quick story about my dad trying to be an? So he's telling me he's telling me a story about that in Algeria he went to in Algeria roughly in the 70s. The plays were a very big thing, yeah?
yeah.
So he wanted to kind of
Theatre. It was maybe the French, because the French had that.
I don't know.
There's a
Who
lot of
knows,
theatre
bro?
work
Who
here,
knows?
yeah.
Don't bring up the French, bro.
Sorry, bro.
Don't do that again, please.
I'm so sorry.
So everything good is the French and everything bad is the Arabs,
I'm
yeah?
just,
Oh, exactly. Nah, I'm joking. So he goes. He was lining up. He's lining up, yeah, and he's sitting there. He's watching. So you can see, the people doing their auditions, right? So someone in the line, yeah, he was like, like he just dropped on the floor, and everyone's rushing around him. Yeah, it's like, oh my god. Then he got up, yeah, the guy who just fell on the floor. He went, هذه المسرحية. Which is translated, this is acting. But that goes, I just left, bro. When he told me that story, I was cracking up, man.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so it could have been,
Next future.
so you could have been a.
Well, I would.
I guess what could you have been?
Well, I think I would end up being one of those bad guys in those terrorist movies.
No, you know who you would be. You know,
Mustafa.
no, you know who you would be. You would be the guy from Escape Plan.
Oh,
The Sylvester Stallone movie.
yeah. What's his name?
The Persian guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you. Astaghfirullah.
Yeah, so all right, so you narrowly escaped being an actor, and then sorry, what? So this is what intrigues me, because I've got kids, yeah, roughly at the age where you're making those decisions, right? And when did you decide in your head,
This is it.
like, I'm gonna be a doctor, and then what did you do afterwards to kind of?
So there was two things.
Do you remember? Do you remember?
Yeah, clearly. There was two things. My stepfather at the time, Bijan, mashallah, he got me a Quran in 1992, 91, the Yusuf Ali one.
Okay, yeah.
So obviously I became a self-made scholar. I started learning only the English, obviously.
Yeah.
And started teaching to the kids, everyone around me, you got to do this, you got to do that. And then I came across that ayah that really blew me away. If you save a life, still you save the whole of mankind.
Yeah.
You take a life, still you're taking the whole life of mankind. So in my head I thought, if I save one person, I could save the whole world. And at a young age, bro, you got a superhero complex. You really want to be a superhero. You want to save everyone around you, subhanAllah. And then I used to always get these stories from my mum telling us about people who passed away back home. Her sister, Sahela Rahimullah, she passed away. She was about 5 years old. Like really spectacular looking little girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, really. And she passed away. People would pass her around. And then you start hearing the stories about people just dying from dysentery and dying from...
What's dysentery, bro?
Dysentery is like really bad diarrhea. So it's when you get like typhoid and all these other kind of bugs that we don't ever see, alhamdulillah, because we got treated, we got treatments, and if not, they're going to be going to hospital. And I think what I was informed, she actually died from dehydration. Can you imagine that? A 5-year-old dying from dehydration. That's like
In Iran.
in Iran, yeah, in Iran.
But how though?
Because they were in Kashan, isn't it? So Kashan's like a village area, right? And it's because no one was able to give her water when she was being cared for in the hospital.
Oh, like she was ill, and then I thought she just died of dehydration.
No, she was ill from dysentery. They couldn't manage her.
Okay.
They took her. I mean, I believe part of it is aim because from what I've seen, pictures of my mum's brothers and their family, how light skin, light eyes, light hair they look. I kind of think there's something going on there. But anyway, so those stories would always play in my head. So I'd lie there at night thinking, I want to save everyone. I got to save everyone. And, you know, then I remember when I was really young, I saw this doctor. Actually, I think it was Iranian Turk in Homerton. And I remember he was just talking to my mum. And my mum got a glimpse of his name. She started speaking to him. I think it was either in Farsi or Turkish. And then he became very, you know that when you start speaking the same lingo.
He dropped the curtain, innit?
The whole guard went down.
Yeah.
And I looked at him thinking, wow, that's amazing. I fell in love with the fact that this guy can help and save. It's just something inside was just burning.
So that's really important because when I used to work in the charity sector with young people, I think this is one of the main things is that not being represented in the fields.
Agreed.
Like, or not seeing people like you doing, you know,
Absolutely.
for example, like I give you example.
I mean, to be fair, I wasn't. I was the most unlikely candidate to do medicine because I just like training, wrestling, exercising, reading. Didn't really go out much.
But you're slightly what's the word? Dyslexic, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So I didn't know whether I should
Yo, you
expose.
knew the word, bro. You knew.
No, I was waiting for his
Scared he was gonna get
interaction.
punched in the head.
No, but there's nothing wrong with being dyslexic, though.
Look at him now, bro.
No, because no, but the reason why I say that you are dyslexic. You said you were dyslexic. I don't know if you said it in a way which was like, but I've seen your handwriting and your spelling is terrible, bro.
But he's a doctor, bro.
No. So my dyslexia came out when I was like postgraduate, really past my postgraduate. Well, I'll get to that another time. But yeah, so I already had issues with reading. I was told from a very young age, like numbers were great. I could see numbers, I could see algorithms, that everything made sense. But for some reason, I struggle with English. And I used to just think that's because you know English.
Yeah.
But then Reza, mashallah, was amazing. He got A's in GCSEs. He done his law degree. I mean, Mossi was good. Mariam was good with English. So I was like, well, maybe there's something. And I was like, man, we're foreigners, right? So then I remember my English teacher said to me, you'd be lucky if you get a C. And I was like, what? What did you say? And I remember I got the chair and I slammed it on the floor. And he goes, what's wrong with you, Mr. Loisy? And I said, what's wrong with you?
Mr. Loisy said that to you?
Yeah, because he was being
obviously he's being brutally honest. Yeah.
So it was
he's a nice guy, but he's a very
lovely
good
guy.
teacher as well.
And I really loved his teaching style.
Yeah.
That's why I was upset because I was like,
By the way, best dressed teacher ever.
Yes, smart, sharp.
He'd never come in. He never looked tired.
Yep.
Like suit and tie.
Yeah.
He was Greek, wasn't he?
Greek guy.
Yeah, Greek.
Was
Cypriot.
everybody scared of him?
No.
He was a very lovely guy, but he
can't control the room.
No, he was fair but firm.
No, he controlled the room, bro.
He controlled the room.
Yeah.
He controlled the room, but he wasn't aggressive. He was very firm.
Yeah.
But he was fair, bro.
And his English was so good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cacophony of sounds. Like, what was that? What does that mean?
I remember, like our generation, there was a lot of refugees coming from
Bosnia,
the Congo.
Yeah.
Those guys that were like in their 30s, probably, bro, in year 7. Like,
full grown beards.
poor guys, yeah. Like
fake passports.
I remember there was a kid in my class. He told me I'm 19, bro, and I'm like I'm 11. Like, look at that. Like. But you have to do what you have to do, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, so.
The
GCSEs.
Those are the catalysts.
So to get into medical school, what's the requirements? Just
I think you got to be at least B and above for all subjects in GCSE anyway. Alhamdulillah, I got like A stars and A's, but it's just the English I got 2 B's in. So
don't just do that.
No, I'm telling you, bro.
Don't just do that. A stars and A's.
I'm telling you, bro. But what I'm saying is that I didn't. I'll give you an example. Like, I wouldn't go. Oh look, I'll be like, yeah, okay, I can apply now. When I done my A levels, I was like, I just wanted to get enough to get in. And then it's the same thing. So alhamdulillah, smash.
But I know, like, obviously I'll throw mud in your face later, but you study very hard, man.
Alhamdulillah.
Allah Mubarak. But I've
Alhamdulillah.
seen you study and I've seen your postgraduate, your master stuff that you've done. And it's an inspiration, wallahi. But also it does mean that just for those kids, if you're listening, with dyslexia, it's about hard work. You can be the most talented person,
but
and if you don't have the hard work, you're not gonna do anything in anything that you.
I think that's key, and I think what the point I'm trying to say to people is, take me as an example, meaning not the best example of stuff, but more like, look, didn't come from a great household, lovely family, got a lot of heart, a lot of soul, a lot of feeling. You know, went to a really trashy secondary school, but the teachers were great. They tried. College, same thing. Great teachers, not really good. So you would struggle to get, like, when I applied to
the
medical
resources
school,
weren't there.
they weren't there when I went to medical. Like I remember. So now me on the other end is I'm interviewing candidates coming to medical school when I was in my final year of med school, postgraduate, and you hear what the kids have done, you're like, that's why I couldn't get in.
Duke of Edinburgh.
They've been to Himalayas. They've gone hunting. Yeah. they were in shark infested waters. They're like, okay. I mean, we had one kid. He was in the, what do they call it? I think what Zach used to. You know, the football training camp, like academy. But he was Everton or Tottenham, one of the two, right? And he was about. So they were like, "Do you understand? If you do this," he goes, "I have made it, bro." This is a 16-year-old kid saying, I've made a decision. I don't want to be football. I want to be a doctor.
Wow.
And bro, I think it was one of the two, Tottenham, but he was also about to get into that kind of professional league. Could have been in England. Could have been a billionaire, basically. Yeah? And I remember when he left it, they just looked around and said, right, he's getting an unconditional offer.
Wow.
Because he's
there's actually some football players that are actually medical doctors. I know, like...
I've heard of that.
If you can just search it, bro. But there are some football players that actually became a doctor and then done both anyway. But can I just, before we move on to the next subject, like medical school, because for me it's like this. How was it? So you got your grades in GCSE, which is A stars and A's,
and then A levels,
and then you went to A levels. What did you do in A levels?
I've done chemistry, physics, maths, further maths.
Chemistry, physics,
maths, further maths,
further maths, and then that's 5, right?
Four.
And then you got what? What did you get in those?
Alhamdulillah.
You got your bits and bobs, and then so when did you apply for medical school to get? Did you have to apply when you're in college?
So when you finish the so I'm talking about 95,
Yeah.
So when I applied, it was in your second year of college. So as you're leaving your holidays, you've got to start applying for them.
Oh, so that's summer.
Yeah, that summer you're applying. I think now they've got a much more tougher schedule. They've got to do the UCAT Met exams.
What's that?
It's like a multiple choice question. They've got so they're not even checking you in terms of your A levels. They're seeing about lateral thinking. So I mean, I just I heard from the rest as you go into med school. But when I got in, I had several interviews. I had Cambridge, I had Guy's, I had Queen Mary's, and I had Charing Cross. Yeah, those are the 4. And they were just, I would go there. I mean, the Cambridge I got close and they were like, well, no cigar, you know.
Interesting.
I think I got to like, they pair you up, isn't it? So they pair you up with someone with similar qualities. And the person they paired him up with, actually, I met him on the day. And I swear to God, subhanAllah, he was Iranian called Amir. And I'm thinking, what's your surname? Are you know
what's happened? Can I tell you what's happened there, bro?
Muslimi.
This is what happened. No, this is what happened, yeah? They had an Excel spreadsheet, sort first name, A to Z.
And where did it come from?
And then just do 2. And then put ethnicity on one side and then sort by ethnicity.
Do you know, I remember, I hope he's not listening to this, but do you know, I remember, bro, when I looked at him, I thought, this is like, trading places.
Yeah.
I thought this guy was me if I had money. Because he looked, honestly, bro, he looked, mashallah, well off. Yeah. So he probably got in. So we've going back to the medical school thing.
So you didn't get into Cambridge?
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, but that, again, who knows if you got in, what would have happened or all that type of stuff.
So I went to the perfect medical school. I think it was the best medical school.
You went to one in New Cross, right? The Goldsmith.
Charing Cross Hospital, which after the first or second year, Imperial College took over. Right. So I started working at Charing Cross. I was trained at St. Mary's in Paddington, but our collective degree was Imperial. but you could choose if you're a Charing Cross student to get a Charing Cross pass, or St Mary's, you get your St Mary's certificate. So
St Mary's in
Paddington,
That's okay,
brilliant
Good
hospital,
hospital, yeah.
amazing hospital. They've got like really some amazing things going on there.
Yeah.
But Imperial College was again, you know.
Where's Imperial College? Isn't it in New Cross?
No. Oxford, not Oxford. My word. Science Museum. Next to the Science Museum.
South Kensington.
South Kensington. South Kensington.
Okay,
Yeah.
right,
South Ken.
right. So now you're in medical school. You've got in. We could do a whole podcast of you, the stories in medical school, but
That's for the.
it's a wild place, man.
That's for the Premier League only.
Exactly.
Bro.
That's for the
After midnight.
That's after midnight when the kids go to sleep.
That's for the Patreon Patreon customers, yeah. But customers, Patreon viewers, whatever. We don't have a Patreon. Subscribers, thank you. Exactly. But we don't have a Patreon, just so you know. But so let's get into the wrestling side of things, because I think you always mention it, and basic, like when I first met you, I thought like, why is this guy so into wrestling for? It's ridiculous, man. Like,
It hasn't changed.
like he has
Not even an
literally,
inch.
just to kind of give some context, yeah. We'll talk about how we met anyway. Like, but like when I first met, I was like, okay, wrestling, right, fine, okay. You know, because wrestling is a very niche sport, yeah.
I think I met Muhammad before you got married, bro.
Is it?
Yeah, Gymas.
No, we met him. We met him once or twice in KO as well.
Oh my God, upstairs.
In
KOs, yeah.
Clapton Roundabout.
Yeah. But I met you first in I was about 17,
Yeah.
16, 17. Went there, and then that's when Rashid was fighting a 14-year-old. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
He paid him because Rashid, mashallah. Like, and I was like, and then the thing is that
God, wow.
it was a while back, yeah.
SubhanAllah.
And that was my first kind of like brush with grappling.
He was like, this is my stuff.
But the thing is, you guys were like, but you know what put me off? I'm not gonna lie.
It was wild.
4,000 squats just for a warm up. I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
Do you know if
What are you doing? It's all legs as well. Like, it's like literally only leg exercises, bro.
You know, I swear to you, if you do the original Legion warm up from
Yeah.
back in the day in
Yeah.
Upton Lane, so you had like 30 people in a circle, right? Everyone done 10 squats.
Yeah. So that
You
put
count
me
10,
off.
and then you come round. So you've done 300, yeah?
Yeah.
And that was like, say, reverse squats. Then you done split squats. Everyone does 10 at 600.
What split squats?
So basically, you kind of you go
It's
into
like a lunge.
squat,
Oh,
lunge
yeah,
squat,
yeah, yeah.
and you bounce
Yeah.
to them, and then you do another set where you go into a duck squat. You go down and you bounce on your knees. You come up to a half sumo
Yeah.
squat.
I saw
So
all of that.
All
I
of
saw-
that. So you would get to about 1,000.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was like
Now let's start training.
no. Then you start doing remember doing the press ups. So you do 5 fingers,
Hindu
3 fingers,
push-ups.
2
Three fingers.
yeah, 3 fingers and 2 fingers.
This is,
Yeah.
yeah.
It looks like T-Rex. So it's like 5 fingers, 3 fingers, 2 fingers, sometimes
And no hands.
no hands. I want what he's drinking.
Is that where
Yeah.
you met? Is that where you met the kung fu guy, bro?
Oh, you got to turn. So now that's a good one
my
actually.
God.
Let's get into your martial arts background, yeah. Because we not so you lead on that one. Go on, you tell them about. Is that your first martial art, bro?
I got involved into martial arts because I got a little bit put off by wrestling.
Right. So wrestling was first.
Wrestling was first. My dad, and I was like, man.
Your
this
dad's
is
intense, innit? Like when he
hard,
came.
like, you know,
Yeah.
that. Oh, I don't know. So then my dad used to teach wrestling, and next door there was a taekwondo.
No, tell us about that kung fu class.
No, I'm gonna tell you about that.
Oh, you're gonna tell us
because
about
the
that.
taekwondo came way before that.
Oh, okay.
So I started
okay,
doing taekwondo
okay.
when I was about 10 years old.
Yeah.
So I done taekwondo, and then I said, Dad, can I do that? He goes, okay, you go. You do what you want. You go. No problem. So then he sent me to taekwondo, and he's teaching wrestling.
Right.
Kensington Sports Centre was the hub.
Budokai.
No, Kensington Sports Centre in Ladbroke Grove. That was the hub. That's why I know Ladbroke really well. It's the hub of wrestling, bro. It was like all of the Turks, the Iranians, the brothers from Kafka.
I'll tell you that now. Not one Moroccan wandered in there, bro. I'll tell you that now.
No, there was there was a lot of Algerian brothers.
What wrestling?
Yeah, but Nabil was one of them.
Oh, Nabil, yeah,
Along
mashallah.
Burdock. He was one of them. And I think a lot of the brothers from that part of Algeria, like obviously they trained in the army, and you know, I don't know if you know this, but North Africa was a very strong
Yeah.
wrestling community in terms of the army and the police. And when they go to like the army games and the police
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
they do really, really well.
Yeah.
I think in the African championships they get top 2, top 3. But anyway, so there was a lot of them there. I don't know if Allah if they're Moroccan. I don't know.
I'm joking. I'm just trying little jab at the Moroccans, but I'm joking.
Where's Khalid and you need him? But he would like let me go, and after about 3 or 4 years, obviously he also went to Azerbaijan, went back home, he stayed there, and when he came back, I was a black belt
In what?
in Taekwondo.
How long was he in Azerbaijan, bro?
Bro, nearly 4 or 5 years. So he left when I was.
So you got black belt in 4 years?
No. I was already a year into it.
Oh.
So by 5 years, I got my junior black belt.
Oh, junior black belt. Yeah.
Junior black belt. I
Okay.
was 15
Yeah,
or something. And I still got the video of my grading because I was one of the fastest
still
black
got it
belts. I got it, so I got to show it to
I
you,
got
bro.
yeah. I want to see.
I look like Daniel.
Can we
Santos,
put it
bro.
up on the?
Oh, yeah, I don't mind, bro.
Yeah, please, man.
Bro, the fights.
Like, Imran, remember this, yeah?
Honestly, bro, the fights I had. So my instructor, everyone was like, "Oh, he's only been doing it for 5 years. What are you doing?" He goes, "Amir comes 4 times a week, like clockwork. He trains, he coaches." And very quickly, I started teaching. As a colored belt, I started teaching the white belts, and they could see I cared about the art, right? And then in my grading, bro, punishment. 1-on-1, 1-on-2, 1-on-3, 1-on-4, 1-on-1, 1-on-2, 1-on-3. I was like, when is it gonna end? But my face was black and bruised. I had to break the boards. You have to do 2 boards.
Can I ask you a question about the boards?
The breaker boards.
Can I ask you about the boards? What they? Because they don't look like they look like they break on, like you could break it like that.
So they're break boards, yeah. But when you pad them together, it's the equivalent of say a stiff board. So when you hit it, I'm telling you, my knuckles used to bleed.
Because when I see it on TV,
When
like,
it's
it looks
one-
bait, bro.
When
It
it's
look-
one board, man, to be
yeah,
honest.
okay,
it's,
right.
But when you put them together, it's literally they reinforce each other,
Of course, yeah.
and it becomes really difficult to break. Like you actually hit it, and you feel like you're hitting a brick wall.
So you got to punch through it.
You
right?
got to punch through it, and the kick you got to go through it. It's really hard.
There's Amir, bro.
So
Okay, so you got your black belt,
got my black belt, and then this was my realization of wrestling now. Yeah.
right?
So
I'm still waiting for the kung fu story,
I'm
bro.
gonna get to that.
All right, go ahead.
And I think in year 10 or year 11, I got into a fight, and literally it was like UFC 1.
No.
Yeah. So the guy.
What was the fight over? Do you remember?
It was one of his guys in my years, just big mouth, and he said something and he pushed me, and I said, "Listen, don't do that."
You're right, fella.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
pretty
right,
sure you
fella.
didn't say it.
I said something else, and then he basically didn't give me a chance to strike him. He just mauled, like grabbed, and I just done a lateral drop. And I remember thinking, "Oh my god!" That was
So
my
1
wrestling.
second, it was.
No,
Where,
when
where
he
was
hit-
the fight?
5th floor near the master, the master department
Oh yeah.
on the 5th floor.
Yeah.
But there's the fire doors.
Where it's the
Eh,
back
the-
staircase.
yeah, and
Where everything goes down, the back
basically,
staircase.
yeah,
Yeah,
basically. So there's a good place to fight there.
yeah.
Bro, when he hit, he's like, because
Yeah.
obviously no one's ever seen that before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
It looked like
When you-
Guile's suplex from Street. And obviously they were like, "Oh my god!" And I just on top of him, holding him, and that was it. It was the end of the fight. And I remember going home thinking, I love Taekwondo, but it didn't really help. It has helped me sometimes. I got in a couple of fights on the road, helped me in those situations. But it didn't help me at that moment. And I was like, So one time I said, "Dad, I think I want to learn to wrestle again." He goes, "No, you want to come back." I won't say we said after that.
I know what he said.
That's what he was going to do, man.
Hey, listen, if I hear your WhatsApp notification one more time, you better turn your WhatsApp off, man.
Sorry, it's on.
So he
I'll get Amir on you.
So then I started wrestling with him, and then I started learning from his students, and that was
Whose
really
students?
painful. My dad's student.
Oh, right, sorry.
It's a really
So he just he done a proper old school martial arts film, innit?
go learn from them.
You go.
You go learn there.
Do you remember those films where they would sit outside the Shaolin temple for days, innit? And no, you can't come back. One of those ones.
Yeah, so basically, I was wrestling at his club, and
So
bro, just got beaten up. We just get beaten up every week. Got beaten up, and I remember even as a medical
So
student.
how old were you at the time?
16,
Okay.
17, I got back into it. And I think when I went to medical school, I tried to keep on wrestling because my medical school was quite close to Labrador Grove.
Of course, yeah.
Charing Cross, like just like 20-minute bus ride. So I used to go there, and I remember I was about, I think, 19 or 20, and one of the wrestlers, a very good wrestler, Imran Butt. He's wrestled for England. I think he's half Swedish, half Pakistani. Really lovely guy, really well educated, academic, and he put me in. You know the 2-1 that you put on the ankle, and you roll them to the front. So 2 on the ankle, you turn them.
Oh,
to the front.
on your front.
No, you know the on parterre and fours.
parterre, yeah.
You go to the ankles, you pull them in.
Okay.
And they roll onto the side. Then you do a khabib. You know where you lock the legs around his legs, and then you cross face. Yeah, you cross face and you block. And I remember he was holding me, and he grabbed me. He goes and he said to me, "Do you know who taught me this move? Your dad."
Did you go like this? No.
Wallahi, man, when he said something like, no, not to me, goes, you know your dad. Something like, your dad done this to me. And I was like,
Like Dong Po.
Well, basically, it was the twister.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes,
I was just
twister.
literally,
Yeah.
I was just literally like this, ringed out. And I was like, I was going to get beaten up. But I think the Iranians there used to be very protective of me. They'd be like, well, he's just a kid. You know? Yeah. And I remember it was...
That's when you went to the Kung Fu class, isn't it?
No.
How am I going to get out of this?
No. That was well before that. I remember I got belly to belly suplex by an Italian wrestler. And he landed directly, like literally, double and just picked me up. And I was like, oh. You know, you go,
Yeah, that feeling.
You know, oh.
It's like when you take off on a plane, isn't it? Yeah.
And he's done one clean turnbuckle on me, gone straight over, and he's landed on my back. And I went, and you know, like the cold feeling, you know, you just think you've broken something. And I laid down, I was like, I broke my back. And I was like, and then he's actually a UFC fighter. Do you know the Persian prince? What's his name? Lost to Khabib.
Yes,
Early days. It was very good. What's his name? Kamal Shaloush. Yeah. He used to train at my dad's club in Kensington.
No way.
So he came across and he got really upset. Lovely, really nice guy. Bless him, man. Really like. But bro, don't forget. Can I say something, Muhammad? You know, back in the day, he didn't fight this way, man. He used to fight 84 kilos, so he was massive. It was much.
Is he tall?
No, it was about probably 5'8", 5'6", about 5'8". But he was really strong.
Who this Persian prince guy? Was he the one that suplexed you?
No. So he came across. I mean, she showed first time. I went, my back, cameraman. He was like, who done it? And I went, he done it. And he went, look what I'm going to do to him. He went, hey, you want to do Greco? And he didn't realize that his specialty is Greco. He went to freestyle. He's a brilliant Greco fighter. Bro, this guy was flying. He was double overs, double unders, head and arm, bro, non-stop. And then this guy, wallahi, this is from my memory. Maybe I mixed it up a little. He's gone straight to his bag and ran out. I'm getting out of here. And I was like, yeah, that's right, you run.
I'm not moving on until you tell me it's a Kung Fu story,
Okay,
bro.
so
because when I'm editing this video, I'm gonna be looking for it, bro.
So what happened was with the Kung Fu.
That is gonna be an anticlimax. But
No. I'll tell you what it was.
But go on.
I love Jackie Chan movies, right? So what I used to do, because we were poor and I couldn't afford training, I used to watch his videos, and you know some of his videos, he actually opens the book.
Right.
You know, do you remember those scenes? Because
which one?
Man used to steal Kung Fu from the movie.
He would go, crane technique. In this form, you would see the legs move like this.
Yeah.
And then as he's moving along, right, you can actually see the foot movements. I was like,
no way,
Wallahi,
bro.
press pause. Wallahi.
Nah, bro.
That's about 8-year-old kid, bro. I can do this. I can really do
That was
this.
like BJJ Fanatics back in the day.
Innit? It was Grappler's Guide.
Yeah, bro.
And I was like, oh, man. So the Drunken Master.
Did you do the sounds?
All you hear is dung 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 dung.
And it goes the camera.
Dung dung dung.
So which film was that?
Drunken Master.
Oh, Drunken Master.
That was it.
If you haven't watched Drunken Master,
Amazing.
you need to go and watch it this weekend.
Wicked film.
It's such a good film. You know, people forget about, because there's all this traditional martial arts movies. I mean, the storyline, to this day, I can't tell you what it was.
No,
I have no idea what happens in the
This guy
film.
comes running into the middle of the... I'll fight you.
That's it. And it's always in fields as well, bruv. Like, they always like find a clear field. And then there's always a stool as well. You know the stools?
There's a scene where he goes, you didn't teach me that. He goes, teach me that. He goes, I can teach you how to fight. I was like, where did that come from?
So you watch these
Got really into it.
Right.
Obviously, there's no Kung Fu clubs anywhere. And so I got into taekwondo, wrestling, you know. I started learning with Razor. Razor was doing
No,
some
tell me the story about school,
So
man.
then what happened was I was walking past the front entrance.
All right.
Wallahi, there was a A4 poster saying snake and a monkey shadow.
No.
Snake and the snake monkey comes.
But you read it like that.
Shaolin, yeah.
Yeah, you read it like that.
Dyslexia
You read it like that.
put in what I needed to know. Especially Shaolin Kung Fu. And I was like, oh my God.
Kung Fu, check.
Shaolin,
Wicked name, check. The word
monkey.
Shaolin in it, check.
yeah. I was like, I need to learn this. So then I went there and it was the person who was teaching it.
Yeah. Bless him, bro.
Bless him, man.
He's
And
such
I
a
was
nice
like-
guy.
I was like, oh my God, this is wicked. And I kind of accelerated my belts very quickly because I was like double
How long
grade.
did you do it for? Like 2
I think
days?
for about I think about a couple of weeks.
And he
Like,
just put you
Man,
straight
double
away.
graded in a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah,
weeks.
yeah. Because obviously I was bashing man's up. They're like, oh, he knows how to fight. And then the techniques were really interesting.
Tell them about like why you left as well. This is hilarious, man.
Two things I found was there was no continuity sometimes in their kata. So the 1 week was like, you go like this and like this. And then I'll be like, but last week you done it like that. Is it like that or like that?
You making
Because
it up?
obviously- No, I'm not joking.
No, but-
No, is you making it up, bro?
Well,
Like he's making it up.
possibly, yeah. I mean, and
He's
the
ma-
story, how he learned, what he said to me, I was like, oh, you learned like that?
How did he learn?
I don't know, some Chinese dude in a restaurant. That's what he said. Something like that. And I remember thinking,
Oh my god, you
yeah,
can't even make that.
I'm
Up.
thinking that's so.
I want that to be true.
That's so Bruce Leroy.
Oh, bro.
Remember that?
Bruce Leroy.
In the
Straight after Fist of when Bruce Lee died, didn't it? There was all these fake Bruce Lees. Do you remember?
All of them, bro. Bruce Lie.
Bruce Lee.
all
Yeah.
of them,
Lie.
man.
Oh my days.
Or even the best one, the Turkish one, Bruce Ali.
No,
There's a Bruce Ali, bro.
bro. I died when I saw Turkish Superman, bro. Have you seen
Bro,
that one?
that was
He doesn't
wicked.
even fly, bro. He jumps and they cut the scene. then that's next scene he lands.
We got Junaid Talcum. You know about him?
No.
He jumps on like 20 man and they all fall.
It's like Indian
that's-
films,
that's-
isn't it?
I beg
Turkish-
you, bro. Look at
Yeah, Super Dunya.
bro. He
Don't
looks
leave.
like kebabs.
Oi.
Yusuf,
Did you just say he looks like kebabs?
He looks like Adana, bro. Like he's on a scooter. Look, bro.
Oh my God.
Bro, what does it say on there, please, bro? Yeah, Tayfun Demir Güngör Bayrak. What does that mean? Oh, they're all names. What does it say at the
Bro,
top?
I beg you, look at them side by side,
Why is he wearing those glasses, bro?
bro.
Subhanallah.
Chili sauce.
And then there's the Indian Superman, bro. That's another one.
Oh, that's wicked.
MashaAllah. But okay, then we digress. So
So I went into class, trained a little bit, done double grading, came out and fought.
this is all in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then I remember looks like one of the rest of the club. And then I remember thinking, okay, and then the thing that made me like really think this is crazy was like when someone attacks you, you do this. So I can't demonstrate because I've got a mic.
Can you try and explain it?
You gotta crouch down.
So what's the person?
You crouch down and you go into like this kind of like this bent position and then you do this. And I went, so if someone kicks you in your face, what are you gonna go on, kick me in the face? And he went, pow! So he grabbed my leg and he
But you
twisted
you
it.
let him.
Yeah, I
innit?
let him.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna
But
stop.
another thing is, he's hit. So everything was on his. So all his body weight was on his 2 toes.
Basically, I was like, I'm not learning this anymore.
this is long.
I'm gonna-
Did you smash it, bro?
You know who was starting with? Me and Mashi done it together.
No.
Mashi got graded as well, man. He was doing
Serious?
because Mashi done Koksu 1. You know the other Korean martial art with like weapons and stuff. Yeah,
Oh, Mashi looks like that type.
yeah. Mashi loved it, bro. He used to stick fighting the whole lot. I think he got up nearly up to black belt.
No way.
Yeah, he done really, really well. I tell you what, just
You guys were like Power Rangers, innit? All 5 of you, bro.
swear, bro. And you know Reza, another one. Reza
Meet
learned-
my brother. He is a child.
Bro, I'm
in
telling
Kingsmead
you.
Estate, right in the middle,
It
bro.
was just Mossem was the only one that just was a Puritan wrestler.
Just wrestling,
Just
yeah.
wrestled. Loved it. He went to Iran. Bro, when he went to Iran, he came back.
How long did he stay?
At least 3 months he was there, bro. He was wrestling, but he beat me up so. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, we just do wrestling. I was like, wow, look at that. You know, along my back. So but Moss alhamdulillah, is a great wrestler, mashallah. He's athletic as well. But Mashi martial arts, Reza, Southern Praying Mantis, Wing Chun.
He used to crush motorcycle helmets, isn't it?
No, coconuts.
Oh, coconut, sorry.
Coconuts.
Who's that? Mashi?
No, Reza.
Oh.
You see him now. Is that your phone? You're gonna, Amir, we're gonna have to deal with him after this podcast, you know, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be the tombstone, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna tombstone him. Okay, so let's just switch gears a bit because to be honest with you, I know everyone's bored to death with this whole coronavirus pandemic and all that stuff.
What is the narrative? The unprecedented, challenging times ahead.
Exactly, all that.
When do you
type of
always hear that? You're like, God, man.
So, like, I think let's talk a little bit about the because you were on the front lines, yeah. So let's just kind of rewind a little bit back to when it first hit. And do you remember
Closing
Patient
down
Zero?
Legion.
Remember Patient Zero at Legion, bro? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that guy.
So just explain a little bit what happened, like because what happened. So I remember all these coronavirus memes were coming out on Instagram, and I just ignored them.
They were making a joke about it, wasn't it?
Just jokes.
They were like
People-
vodka and Corona,
Yeah,
like
yeah, all
gin
that-
and tonic, all that kind
All
of
that rubbish, yeah. So
Yeah. And then when it came,
so we closed the gym
we were
before
the first to
the
close.
lockdown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were the
100%.
first. End of February closed.
Yeah.
Like
No.
even
It was March the Wednesday we closed, and then
The week off.
the Friday is when the pandemic happened.
Yeah. And people were complaining to
They were
us.
complaining to us. Yeah. They did, but we understood the realities
Yeah.
of what was going to happen.
I kept
In
on
a sense, we
thinking-
didn't know it was going to last a
But
year.
I remember I used to do talks on this to other clinicians, and I used to talk to people about pandemics and stuff. And unfortunately, whenever we had a pandemic, it didn't really take off. Like swine flu,
Yeah.
really take off.
You seem disappointed, bro.
No, like because with this, you know, it was.
There's nothing like a good pandemic to.
Let's get rear up the engines. For me, it's like the problem with that, bro, is that unfortunately, I don't want to go to conspiracy, blah blah blah. But you know, big pharma has a hand to play, and you know sometimes they do push the agenda. And I think swine flu kind of made me see that first time when I was working,
Yeah.
because most of the people that came to me didn't have swine flu. They had the side effects of Tamiflu, which is the drug that is used for bird flu,
Yeah,
not for swine flu.
they gave me Tamiflu.
They give
man,
everyone
remember?
Tamiflu, bro. It's not even an indication of usage. Yes, it's antiviral, but specifically for bird flu. But bird flu never took off, so Roche was stuck with all of this massive stock. They had to do something.
There was
with it.
all that kind of those rumors flying.
Yeah, I
around
mean,
as
look,
well.
whatever it is, yeah. So that affected my understanding. So when Corona comes, like, yeah, you know, we understand it's quite difficult.
You were
So
skeptical, kind of.
yeah, I was like,
almost.
but then when you started seeing people coming in, and I never forget GP saying to me, this guy comes in, he's talking to me, Amir, full sentences, just complaining a little bit chesty, a little bit short of breath. But, like, you could never believe this guy is about to pass away in about 1 hour.
No way.
And he said to me, I put the SATS monitor on, 84%. And he went, so I'll explain to you what 84%, I'll get to the point, yeah? And he goes, nah, it's the monitor, because his finger might be cold, let's warm it up. 84, 85. Went and got one from A&E, 84, 85. And he's like, no, this is not good. So when he spoke to the medical reg, so you referred him on to, he goes, 84, 85, and he's talking his full sentence. So no one saw that ever before. Guy goes in, and then he goes, and boom, hypoxic, and just collapses. Sent into resus. I think he made it, but the point I'm getting at, we saw a lot of those cases, though, coming in, saturation's really low. Look, we have a friend of ours that we both know that his sats were low.
Yes.
It's unfound. You don't see that, bro. You don't see young men and women coming in with respiratory distress at that level. Unheard of. It was literally like, you know, if you get carbon monoxide poisoning, you lose the affinity for oxygen to this other molecule, which actually makes things difficult, like causes hypoxia.
Firstly, like, can we
Let's
before
just
you,
say, yeah.
before
So
we
in-
get into that, I just
yeah,
wanna
yeah.
can we just talk a bit about the virus itself, yeah,
Yeah,
and just clear up some misconceptions a little bit.
if we can.
And I know look, if you're here to kind of if you're gonna go in the comments and start talking about
5G towers.
you know what? Like that's not what I'm here to talk about. And if you want to talk about that, and that we're, you know, there's a lot of rude things going on. People kind of, I say what I mean, rude, people being rude to NHS staff, and you're in on this whole conspiracy. I don't want to talk about that. Let's just talk about the realities from your experience.
Yep.
The virus itself, because you've had a year in the trenches, different kind of peak pandemic, and then kind of in the lulls, and then going up
So
again.
I, when it started for me,
Yeah.
I wanted to upregulate to do ITU work. I remember having this conversation with one of the leads of the local place that I work in.
I need you to
Queen's
use
Hospital.
layman terms, please.
So yeah, so I wanted to work in intensive care
Yeah.
because I felt like I'm quite good at A&E,
Yeah.
quite good at acute medicine. I want to do this. And I spoke to him because,
So
look, don't-
acute medicine. So I keep. I'm gonna,
so my
I'm
point
gonna
is-
stop
so
because I know when you talk, yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes even I get. It's not
So
even
it's-
but I get
so
lost
i-
sometimes.
emergency practice. So
Right.
someone collapses, what do you do next? Someone breaks the limb, what do you do next? So I love that kind of stuff. Alhamdulillah. When I say I love it, I'm scared of it, but I've got a passion for it. It's really weird. So I spoke to him because, look, just speak to the intensive care consultant at Queen's. I'm sure they're going to want to have you to come on board, and we can have like this kind of teamwork, primary care, urgent care, working in ITU, bringing, was thinking outside the box. Anyway, I got a letter saying I've got a shield.
Why?
Because of Musa.
Oh.
He had brittle asthma. And also Dad was thinking of us, wasn't he? And Dad's a COPD patient. And I was
Sorry,
like,
what's the COPD?
chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So he basically got like asthma, but due to wear and tear and some other habit-forming behaviors back in the day. But it's basically as a consequence of lung disease. So you've seen that sometimes he trains, he's a little bit short of breath, he's got to his time. But with so then I was like, I remember one of the average GPs I used to work with in Wolverhampton goes, "You can't come work here, bro." I was like, "What? I need income. I need to work." So then for a little while I was doing telephone triaging, and then I started doing nights again, started doing days again, started coming back into work again.
So telephone triaging.
So you actually work over the phone. So you can actually close at least 7, well, not emergency calls, maybe long-term patients. We found we could close about 70% of the calls on a primary call. So the first phone call, I can sort you out over the phone, and when I put it down, you're dealt with.
Yeah, so like you call them, I call
Whatever.
you, I've got stomach, my
yeah,
stomach's hurting.
Whatever it is, like
You
phone call.
go through
Or I
whatever.
might do a video call.
Right.
We have a platform called Accurate Slamming. Do a video call, look at the rash, look, because we was trying to keep everyone out of hospital. Right?
Yeah, of course.
And people didn't want to go to hospital. Even if they were sick, they didn't want to go in. They were scared to go in. If anything, the first few months, or first at least month or two into coronavirus, I remember one of the nurses, Sarah, saying to me, "You should be working, bro. It's really quiet here." Because people were scared to come in. But then the people who were coming in were really ill.
Yeah.
Had some really bad respiratory and breathing difficulties. Like really struggling, man.
So can I, like, it's a good point to kind of talk a little bit about the life cycle of coronavirus, because that really helped me.
Yeah.
Like I remember you sat me down and you explained to me how, like, from when you get the infection to what happens.
Incubation period.
Yeah. And then what happens when you get it, and then.
So viruses are interesting ones because they incubate for sometimes a long period of time, between 7 to 14 days on some viruses. I think they've got 3 to 5 days in some studies. But basically, it sits in your system now. The question was, the etiology or the understanding of a virus in terms of how it acts and how it works and the mechanism of working, it blew that all out of the water. So when we had our first Wuhan patient in Queens, yeah? It was
So he actually came from, or she, was it he?
He came with his daughter. As you know, China is a big, massive metropolis of work opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So this guy's gone there, obviously got, as he coming back, then this Wuhan thing, his daughter had a fever. Bro, I've never seen everyone go, "Just hide him in that room, close the door, don't want to go." I was like,
Wow.
it was like, bubonic plague. I was like, "Oh, this is a kid, man, you're going to scare them." So I went there and I spoke to the microbiology consultant. He said, you have to look at the case definition. Definition is you was being in Wuhan for this for this long, exposed to someone for this many days who's had the fever. There was criteria, right? And I was like, she doesn't meet any of those. She goes, yes, it cannot. So you see, thinking, right, logic, it can't be coronavirus. Probably was coronavirus. Probably was. Because then within about a space of a week, the definition changed again.
Yeah, I remember you were saying.
Anyone with a fever has got coronavirus.
So
like,
can you imagine, like, on the front line, daily,
it was changing.
the terms of engagement was changing, right?
A&E would take them first, and then there was like, no, UTC, you got to take them, which is Urgent Treatment Center, and they'll say, oh my God, they should be rushed, there should be a special COVID ward. It was like...
It was like war, basically.
It was war, bro.
Yeah,
You was trying to do your best, but wallahi, remember, people were scared.
I remember.
People were scared. But the doctors were scared because it wasn't acting like a virus. Well, obviously a virus, but it was working in such a weird fact. Like, ever heard of a virus that sits on inanimate objects for about 7 to 14 days? You can sit on a hard surface for up to, in one study, 21 days. And then you had other people called super shedders. These were people who just given off the virus after they've lost their symptoms. So they're still handing it around like Typhoid Mary, just handing it around everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like, it's on a grand scale. You know? So yeah, I think putting...
And also there wasn't, I mean...
So
you got the
you wasn't very educated about it. So you had to get specialists from Wuhan who'll talk to you, and then they brought ITU. I never forget. There was a talk from Northwick Park, I think, ITU consultant, and it was like we jump on, like a Zoom call and listening to that. He said, "This is a beast we've never seen before." And do you know when a consultant says that, bro? And he's IT is like...
It's like your general, basically.
We've got an alien.
Yeah, chief of staff or whatever, yeah.
That's what and it was like. And they were up-regulating... so they were ITU... They were up-regulating anesthetics to come into ITU and take over, help, because it became...
So people who studied to...
The anesthesia, to put someone to sleep, were now told, we need you to come and start working in ITU, because we can't take it anymore.
As anesthetics or just as a normal doctor?
So the anaesthetists are very... Their understanding of illnesses, like in terms of mechanics of how things... They're very intelligent people, mashallah. So like ITU, renal consultants, you have... there's a lot that you've got to learn. I don't take from any other subspecialties, but those guys are usually like... They're like they're like SAS of medicine. And so when they come to ITU, you're not just putting people to sleep, you're actually managing their respiratory function. And the problem with
keeping
COVID,
them alive, basically.
The problem with COVID was actually invasive therapy was actually detrimental. So sticking a tube down someone and breathing for them was actually dangerous. The best thing you could do is give them non-invasive, so like continuous airway pressure, blow it into them, or BiPAPs it with a CPAP, by continuous or by pressures. But I mean, to be fair, still be like, what do we do?
So the first 3 months of the pandemic, it was on the front line. It was because this thing is some people think that, especially when I hear the conspiracy theories about why didn't they know about this, or they knew about this, or for example, why were they underprepared? Yeah. There's all these kind of questions in hindsight when you look back at it. But the reality is, no one in our generation has ever dealt with something like this. Everyone who's dealt with something like this is dead.
Is dead.
Like from the Spanish flu, right? That was the last time something like this happened on a global scale, right? And medicine at that time was completely different to now, right? And so also dealing with you said something very interesting to me last time was that anxiety can actually, when stress obviously reduces your immune response, right, or whatever it is, your immunity, right? So the panic that was happening across
was actually a catalyst for making it worse.
So so let's talk about the kind of stage of once you've got COVID, right? You're
well,
I had it.
You had it, and you know,
yeah. So you
talk through your symptoms.
But so you kind of you feel.
What's the first thing you felt? Would you remember?
Body aches.
Okay. Do you remember a fever?
No.
Okay. So the usual is a redonkulous fever.
Yeah.
That you.
Then did I get a fever? I did get a fever, but the first symptom was.
Yeah. So the body aches. Yeah, you're right. But the fever you get is the kind of fever you get. You get the first flu as a kid. Do you remember having that?
I don't remember.
So I remember having that.
I remember having really, really high fevers.
Yeah. So my high fever was, I think, at medical school, because obviously you started seeing all these bugs now, innit? All these infections you're starting to get akin to, yeah. And it was like that, and wallahi, I was chattering, and I was like, whoa! So this is what it feels like. And the funny thing is, with all this, working in television, working in A&E, working out of hours, doing the night shifts, wearing the PPE kit, the FFP3, the goggles, how did I get it? From my own home. I won't say who, but so and that person got it. I said, went to somewhere, and it happens, right? And then my biggest fear was, okay, I don't mind if I get it, don't mind wife, kid. It it was Musa and my dad. I went. Alhamdulillah, my dad wasn't there at that time, so we got him out.
I remember you were distressed. Yeah.
We threw him on the plane. You get out.
Yeah.
And
I remember you were very anxious about Musa.
I was like, because I've seen him.
Yeah.
Going.
I remember
recess.
I've seen him going.
You've seen it.
Gasping for air.
And I've seen him in recess where they've said we're gonna put magnesium infusion, which is like you're getting close to someone gonna go to ITU now when you start doing things like that, and you got a child in recess. Yeah. I remember sitting thinking, I can't do that.
Did it reach him though?
Yeah, he got it. But alhamdulillah, do you know what it was? It's like we very quickly put things in place. So the vitamin C, the vitamin D, the vitamin B, the black seed, the organic honey, all of these, like, the key ingredients we spoke about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You gave me I remember when I had it, you gave me
this concoction,
massive list of stuff
so
to take it and obviously painkillers and all that.
Yeah, you take painkillers, you take conservative therapies, you do everything you can. You do the Wim Hof breathing, the breathing mechanism, and all of this stuff, right? And I think because I jacked it in them real quick.
And then you have trust in Allah.
Oh, well, of course. Yeah,
actually, you have trust in Allah first, and then
throughout. So I kind of done that, and I think he just goes, I'm getting really bad headaches, got a little bit of hot muscle ache, but everyone had the same problem in the lethargy.
Yeah.
The fatigue. Yeah. But that's exacerbated by your hormones. What people don't realize that coronavirus reserves itself in the men anyway, in the prostate and the testes. So they get their testosterone goes, and testosterone is, and also your so double whammy. Test goes down when you get sick anyway. When you get, so if there's been.
So what's the thing for women? So testosterone goes down for men.
Yeah.
What happens in women?
Well, we think we're not absolutely certain, but don't forget women have got testosterone as well, right?
Yeah.
So there might be an estrogen to testosterone ratio issue there, right? People don't realize it's not just barn dawn estrogen.
Yeah.
There's other stuff that you got to look at.
Yeah.
But women their immunomodulation is better than men in respect to the way that they protect themselves. But with men, the levels drop down. They're going to drop anyway because you're getting sick. And then coronavirus actually pushes it down even harder.
It attacks those areas, right?
It has it resides in those areas, yeah?
Wow.
So it's a reservoir, yeah? So people don't realize it puts a lot of pressure on that area. People don't realize that testosterone has anti-inflammatory and immunomodulating effects. So what it does, it helps with certain nasty cytokines, the ones that cause the COVID storm. Testosterone kind of dampens that down.
So can I talk to so basically you get the fever,
yeah,
and then you kind of body aches, all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
and then what happened to me was, I think you said to me, wait for day 7. Was it day 7? Day 7, day 8, and then then I started getting breathing issues. But it wasn't bad.
That bad, yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was just
it's like literally someone's got in a bit of a gut wrench.
Yeah.
You kind of got to go.
Yeah, or someone's got neon belly, basically.
Yeah, neon belly.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's with anxiety as well, though, bro.
Yeah. Well, actually, anxiety, but Muhammad's right. So Muhammad had a very mild bronchospasm, very mild. Like you just have to.
But it wasn't even enough for me to think I've got something. It was more for
So now imagine people that actually get the full blown respiratory fate. Like, bro, the fear in them because they've been told ITU is gonna kill you. Not that it's gonna kill you, but. They've been told if you go
to ITU, that's it.
It's a done deal. You're not coming out. Well, they do come out. A lot of them do. But that's the perception, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then they're told if you go to hospital, no one can come and see you.
Yeah, then dying alone. Do you remember those heartbreaking stories, man?
Somalian child that passed away and the parents couldn't go. And they couldn't leave the house because they all had to self-isolate. They all had coronavirus.
So many stories. So many heartbreaking stories.
People don't appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, if you try to get to a ward, the security guard will beat you up and throw you out. They could call the police at any point because it was they had to be that, tough.
Then you start forwarding messages to the parents. Oh, it's fake and this, that. And the parents, they start feeling that, you know what I mean? That emotion.
See, that's another thing about. I don't really want to get into that stuff, but
we have very close friends.
Yeah.
Whose family members have passed away.
Yeah.
And when we're sitting and talking, and this particular person is very well known. He knows this stuff, and then someone says, "Oh, that's just all fake," and I look at his face and he's like. Yeah, I'm not going to have this conversation with you because you're an idiot.
Because the thing is, another thing...
I don't think they think it's fake. I think they're mixing up fake with they don't understand. Is there something untoward? Even if this is a genetic modified illness, whatever it is, it's real.
Yeah, you can't say it's fake.
You can't. I'll give you an example, right? We spoke about the R number. Okay, maybe fudging, but I can tell you when the R number is going to go up. Because I get to go work in that department when I'm there.
But even the R number of the seasonal flu, in the sense of you've worked for how many years, you can tell, okay, this is this, right, there's more people coming in.
I'm saying, bro, if that coronavirus or COVID ward gets fulls up, I'll say, bro, I don't care what the R number is, it's gone up. It's gone up, the numbers have gone up. Remember I said to you, wait 2 weeks, bro, I'll tell you. And I was like, yeah, bro, I'm seeing a lot more cases. Yeah, you're right, but the R number's gone up. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot more cases.
That's how we made the decision to close down.
Close.
So
we got a lot of bollocking from it. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. And
we had patient 0 who didn't tell us that he had a fever and rushed to hospital because he couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that don't
and he was shaking everyone's hands as well.
I want to sweat it out.
Yeah. Sweat it out.
And I remember Muhammad goes, where's the alcohol, bro?
All right, so let's get around the campfire. This is the campfire. You like the heat. Warm up yourself. Let's have some tea. I'm going to have some tea. You like that?
Hey.
All right, so I need you to break down this fight for us, yeah? So can you turn off the fire, please, bro? Turn it down. Okay, so this is something that was sent by Ijaz Bhai.
Oh,
you know, Ijaz sent this to me and he asked...
the Iranian killer.
he asked us to ask
Just
you
a shout for Ijaz, bro. I break your back and make you humble and do old at school.
That's for you, Ijaz, bro. So yeah, he said, again, if you're listening to this podcast and you want to send us some breakdown, like street fights that we want to break down or stuff like that, it's got to be kind of worthwhile, yeah? Nothing too graphic. I don't want anyone that's died in the end or whatever. Something a bit lighthearted. But first, let's watch the thing. How long is it?
30 seconds.
Oh, this was released on National Women's Day, by the way, yeah? How many minutes?
30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. Let's watch it through. I just want your reactions. Oh, they chucked a rock on him, bro. Oh! No. Okay, so now here we go. He's got... Stop, pause it.
Single leg. That was a sweet single leg.
So one second. Go back. So he's got collar. He's got the collar tie.
No. He's got a jiu-jitsu grip.
Yeah, he's got the
judo grip on the lapel.
Right? He's lost control here.
Wait, stop here. Now, she's actually got a double post. She's got a double D post.
Well, stop there. Bro, can you take off the... Can you... Okay, right. So let's see.
He's actually level changing.
But she's lower than him, right?
Yeah, no, she's lower than him, but she's actually doing a double D block. Technically, she can actually do an outside single leg now.
Outside single leg.
But the problem was, there's someone behind him.
Right.
He's taking the single leg already.
Right. So she's ankle picked him.
Go back. She actually. I'll tell you to press pause. Ready, Zach? Wait. Wait. Ready. Press pause. Wait, and again pause. And again.
Pause.
One more time. Stop there. Right. That. Let me tell you something. That position is known as a Turk. Wallahi. You're preparing the Turk. So if she now lifts his leg up from how many times I showed you
over, right?
wrestling?
Yeah.
You lift the leg up and then you step over.
Yeah.
So she's she's landed the perfect Turk.
So what's the position? So now before we go to the finish, so you've got the Turk.
Got the Turk.
The idea is to lift and push him forward, right?
You raise the leg, put the hand on the back, try to turn him, and then you step over.
Over the other leg,
over
right?
the other leg, so you end up in like a half guard. But then as you're turning, you're gonna buckle his head onto the mat.
So
she's got her right hand around his leg.
Yeah.
As she's lifting the right, she steps over with the right, but the left
over
hand
his other leg.
Other leg, yeah. So she's like stepping over. The left hand now comes and cross faces. So I want to see where she leads up. The only problem is she's
her brethren's not helping. Her friend's not helping, bro.
She's an amazing wrestler. Look at her right leg.
Which one?
Her right leg's
under the supported.
This is a Turk. He's actually put it on her thigh.
It's leg rider almost.
Leg rider.
Yeah.
She can actually set up an ankle leg, bro. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
That's
for that move. 10 out of 10.
Just from here, but
for that.
But after this,
we have
catastrophe, bro.
Let's see what happens now.
Oh, yeah, so stop.
Okay,
stop.
Now.
So he's adjusted.
Now he's adjusted. He's actually playing half guard now, but she's in a bad position. He can actually put a Kimura on her now. So
Oh yeah. So what would he do? He would go.
So he would.
No, he could take her back.
He could take her back,
could take
or
her back.
he would exchange from left hand to right hand and override the arm and break.
But
her
has he
arm.
got any? What's the guard pass? Oh,
Zach, you've got a kuf better.
Bro.
Goftam kuf better. Bro, that was clean in the face. Bruh.
But he's holding it down though.
Yeah, he's in it.
connected,
Bro,
bro.
look, wait. Okay, wait. Zach, go back a little bit.
oof.
Go back a little bit. That was a brilliant guard position he had. Ready? Now, right, now guard. Stop there. Right, okay, before he gets nailed in his face. Bro, brilliant. Look, he's actually taking her elbow on a
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
He's gonna go into like a spider position.
Or a triangle maybe.
Or triangle, set up
Yeah.
the triangle. Obviously, he gets black. So, you know, if you were to make a black belt into a brown belt and descend down to white belt, just blap him in his face.
But can I say something though? Can I say
He
something?
very quickly went from guard to, oh my God.
That's why you never pull guard in a street fight, bro.
Bro, the stick, where did she find that?
Bro, don't forget, he's getting pelted by rocks as well.
And the thing is, she's lifted above everyone's head like a squirrel, bro.
Bro, don't forget the rocks, bro. What?
Oh,
Hey,
oh, front headlock.
stop there. She's controlling the head, bro.
She basically pulled him down.
Can I-
But the thing is, it's a woman pulling his leg.
You know the woman with the stick, yeah? She don't care who she's hitting, bro. She's like, if you're in the way, you're holding licks, flat.
Oh my God.
I want to know what the background to this fight is, bro. He must.
He must have been messing around. Bruh.
Okay, so now look, collar grip.
No, collar grip, but
Side control.
Knee
on
chest.
belly. Knee on
Got
belly.
Knee on
Knee
chest.
on chest,
Knee on chest.
Bro, I beg you to hear his voice, yeah?
Bro, can you soundbite that? That'd be chara, man.
This kid.
Bro, you know what it was? You know his head. He thought I'd lick you all. He didn't realize what you're wrestlers.
Bob, you know what? Inshallah, after this year, I'm gonna find the frame where he realized in his head. You know that?
That
I
moment.
messed up, man. Right, they've holding like, another one. What happened? It's done. Wow. So there's a lot going on there, man. So this is the thing.
Look at him here.
Like, stop there.
started it, bro.
There's a few questions, yeah. Please, let's just break this down properly because we've got about 15 minutes left, yeah. Let's break this up. The guy's in a ditch. That's number one. Yeah. I don't know why he's there. He's dressed okay. He's got a shirt and some chinos on. He just dashed one woman thinking, you know what? But her mandem, the mandem's backing it. Stop. Pause it there. This woman,
She came armed.
1 second.
Doing
It's the Hey, Zach, 1 second.
training.
1 second. Let me break this down quickly, yeah? Because we were talking over each other. 1 second, yeah? So this woman with the rock, she's the one she's backing it the whole way, by the way. Is it the same woman that done a leg
Yeah,
rise?
and the leg tuck.
So she chucked a stone at him.
A rock.
A rock, sorry. And, okay, let it run quickly. She's chucked the rock. Boom. Just keep an eye on the one on the red, yeah?
Totally missed though, bro.
She missed. Okay, now...
No, but he cuffs her, bro.
Oh, he cuffs her.
He cuffs her.
He got one lick
so
in.
she's now But Zach, go
This
back.
time's
Zach,
up.
go back. Where'd she get the stick from?
I don't know.
So she hit her, bro, she must have had it in her hijab. She's thrown the rock and then
second.
pulled the stick out of nowhere. Look.
I think she jacked it from the other chick.
It was her brethren.
Yeah, she took it off.
She's like, give me that. Give me that thing.
I punch you. One in your face. Leg tuck.
That's it.
That's it.
She's, you know what? The way
She held it down.
She held it down. She approached this fight with. I mean, like, so. Okay, can I
The
ask?
rules of engagement.
So number one, does grappling work in a group situation?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So unless the guy needs more training. So if you was to bring him to the gym, so Uncle there was getting licked. Firstly, I would want to get her on a scholarship. That one, bro.
100%.
That natural positioning. The shoulder pinning was there when with the Turk. She rode the leg.
Yeah. Pulled him in.
Pulled him in.
I
Didn't
think,
go
I
for
think
the.
he had a BJJ game. That's what it was.
Yeah, he came with the BJJ
Came
game.
with it, and he just can't.
pulled guard.
Can't.
Yeah, he pulled guard too quick, and then he got
Well,
basically.
Well,
He pulled.
He
guard
lost
in the
control.
Yeah, he lost control because he pulled guard
Yeah.
in a multiple fight situation.
yeah.
One on one,
yeah.
maybe, but when there's 4 or 5 people that
So
are
in it,
literally on the head with a pole, you gotta think. It's like you know Jeff Thompson, the famous fighter, who used to do a lot of door work. He goes, sometimes you get into a fight. He goes, this is why the fight's so dangerous. The guy's attacking you. You don't mean you start, and then when you defend yourself, you're there pelting him. He goes, a neighbor thinks he's the aggressor, has run out with a screwdriver
yeah.
to just jack it in his head, and I was like, no, he was beating me up. It's like when Musa got into a fight in Brentwood, same thing. A couple of kids he got into a fight with, them, like,
Bro, man's giving out addresses and names and all sorts of
tell you,
stuff,
bro.
bro.
you know when the scooter came, they
Yeah.
thought Musa was the aggressor.
Yeah. It happens.
It's crazy.
But
But in that situation, don't use BJJ.
so if anyone knows that woman in the red cardigan, we're gonna have a strong women's wrestling program at Legion, inshallah, when we open back up. We're definitely talking about.
100%,
To be honest, I want to send her a jumper or something, bro.
So we got to send her something. I think.
the baseball
Everybody
cap.
knows her.
But the
Yeah,
thing is, again, that guy might have been just, he didn't look like it. He might have been the good guy.
Nah, bro. You can't have 5 women coming.
Yeah,
after
you're a
you,
villain,
you
bro.
know what I mean?
You're a
You know what I
villain.
mean?
You're a villain,
You're a
man.
villain.
You must have did something.
And the thing is different back home. They're not gonna.
They're not gonna.
They're not gonna. You know when someone gets there,
Yeah.
you've pressed
Takes
too
a
many
long time.
buttons now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've pressed so many buttons. There's no going back.
Yeah. Because for like, there was like what 5. The thing what got on my nerves was, see, that's the thing. That's the reality about a fight, right? There's 5 people. There's always one guy that's gonna back it, bro. The rest,
Yeah.
That was her.
yeah, she's that
That was
hard
her.
bodied
She
one,
actually
bro.
took the stick off her mate.
Her mate, no, because her mate gave her a vegetarian hit in it, a vegetarian kind of
A
like
diet strike.
diet strike, bruv. And she's like, give me that.
I'll teach her to do it. She's a beast, man.
She was good, man. So, actually, on that note, unless you got anything else to add, we'll wrap up. Yalla, barakallahu fik, bro.